Greetings, my fellow gamers. It is I, Wraith King, and welcome to a special video concerning Destiny. A while ago, I reviewed this game, and I gave it a pretty low rating because, well, I couldn't enjoy the game to its fullest. I definitely have to change my mind about that. This game is probably one of the better games out there. It's really, really good. If you haven't played it yet, it's free. Go check it out. But I have to be honest where honesty is due. I've seen a lot of YouTubers try their best to talk about the positive about Destiny, but not a lot of people are talking about some of the crucial negatives that this game definitely has. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad game because it really isn't. It is definitely one of the best games I have ever played. And to be honest, I have to consider this one of my favorite games despite some of these negatives. But before we talk about the negatives, let's talk about the positives. The gameplay in this is just so dang good, I can't stop playing it. I am a gameplay fan in video games. If the gameplay is good, I'm going to be on this game forever. If it's bad, you might not see me play it a lot. The gameplay is a pretty big part of my experience in most games. It's one of the reasons why I love Doom so much is because of its gameplay. It's so good. Story, it usually isn't too much for me because as a YouTuber I have grown a habit of just skipping cutscenes all the time and just to get to the review. Sometimes I do that, I'm not gonna lie, but it's pretty good occasionally. Sometimes I do enjoy it, like God of War, for example. That's an amazing game with an amazing story. All around it's just a good game, but really, what comes down to Destiny is its gameplay. You're not gonna love this game for its story. It's just not gonna happen. The story really just isn't that great. I don't want to sound rude or anything. Hopefully the devs will forgive me for saying that, but I just don't really find it all that enjoyable. But despite that, I really, truly do love the gameplay in this. I love the way the characters are. I love the battles, the way the gunplay is just amazing. The bosses, the raids, everything is amazing. And yes, I've finally been able to play some raids. But that's also a part of my negatives, but I'll get into that in a minute. Everything about this game's gameplay is just superb. It's just excellent. I love it so much. The attention to detail in the combat in both PvP and PvE is, I have to say it's flawless. It's superb. Sure, I hear on PC there are a lot of cheaters in PvP, but this is the only game I feel comfortable in PvP. Occasionally, I truly do feel like I am amazing at this game whenever I play it in PvP. It really does feel like that. The only time I have to make this complaint as well, Trials, I feel like there's too many cheaters in there. Even on console, I've noticed a lot of peculiar moves that I really wish I got recorded. But aside from that, aside from those small irritating issues with PvP, I still enjoy it. Can this guy's hand just go down already? There we go. But okay, those are the positives. This game has amazing gameplay, but there are parts of it that I feel like the devs need a little bit of light shed on. Just a little bit. I feel like some things are just dusted under the rug because the community, the YouTubers, they don't speak up enough about some of the major issues concerning the PvE and the PvP, but not too much on that. Let's talk about Galran here a little bit. He has a weapon on him that has a 10% drop chance. Now, I hear a lot of the community saying, oh, the devs are never going to change that. They're never going to change that small detail. I heard the game director just say he doesn't want to move anything with this raid. Well, if the game director is watching this, I encourage you to please sit back and listen to what I have to say because this is pretty important. I have no problem with low drop rates. I've played Warframe. That game is the king of low drop rates. But it's the fact that I can find help with the activities that might have a powerful enemy that has an item on them that I need to farm very easily. I can find a team extremely easily. But on Destiny, raids are strongly focused on teamwork. Very much so. More than any other game I've played. And that can be really fun. But here's the thing about Destiny. The players will play for the devs. They will play for this game any day. That's why we completed a community activity that required us to complete over 1 million Seraph Tower events. If you don't know what that is, it's a very difficult event that people were very tired of doing throughout the season, but they did it because they wanted this weapon. They wanted the weapon that they got from this activity, and we got it done in just a few days. With that being said, I think you understand my point now. The community will definitely 100% support this game. But I have noticed, after playing this game for a very long time, it's been almost a year now, that the community doesn't treat itself very well. People are not very cooperative. People are toxic. People are rude. They will not help newer players. And if there's weapons you don't have, they will not assist you in activities sometimes. I've noticed this. This is a very serious problem in Destiny, and the developers just don't want to fix it. Now, I'm not sure why they don't want to fix it. Maybe it's because they believe that the community likes working with each other, but I have to be honest with you. It's not that they want to work with each other, it's that they want that exotic or that legendary item that you guys, that the developers, are offering them in these activities. Now please hear me out again. I know that there are plenty of great people out there in the community. Heck, that's why I found this raid team after searching for so long. I found a group of magnificent people. There are people out there that will play with you, but it requires a lot of dedication and time that some people just don't have. Me, I'm a YouTuber. I play games all the time. It's a hobby of mine. I play games for a long period of time and record the videos, put them up on YouTube. It's just something I can do. But not everybody can do this. Definitely not everybody. And when you put a weapon on a boss that has a 10% drop chance, and it's an exotic weapon, a lot of people are going to want to use this weapon because, hey, they're paying subscription to play this game on console every year. They bought all these expansions. They're doing all these things for the developers, but at the end of the day, they're still not going to get this exotic because, well, they just don't have the time to. They don't have the patience to find people, play with those people, and learn a raid that takes quite a lot of practice to be perfect at, to get something that they may never get. Now, I understand that you guys may not want to take away the drop rates on this. This is my suggestion. For the exotic and not the pinnacle gear that drops from this activity, the exotic always has a chance to drop. Like, you could play this raid all day and you won't get a thing. But the exotic always has a 10% chance to drop. There's no, you don't have to do it on all 3 characters and that's it. No, you always have a chance to get the exotic from this activity after completing this raid. You just won't get any legendary gear like what you saw me get right there. Other people might be able to get it, but say you already complete the raid 3 times, you will not get any legendary gear. You just won't get it, but you will be getting, at least have a chance to get the exotic. And you can spam this as long as you want, but you will get it eventually. What that does is it just takes away the time gate that this activity has, because you can only beat this 3 times a week. That's once on each of your characters in this game. Like, you might not even be a good hunter. You might not be a good hunter or a titan, but you gotta play as every class if you want to have a chance to get this weapon. Think of how better that would be. An infinite farm on a boss. That would just be perfect, because you wouldn't have to worry about waiting a week to probably get nothing. So, developers, I know you don't want to increase the drop chance for the Tarava. You want it to be 10%. Do that, at least, so we can at least farm the Tarava and we don't have to worry about waiting a week just to possibly get nothing. And that way, if it does take me 10 completions or 15 completions, I can do it within that day. But the major problem I have here with this game is the fact that the developers continue to make activities that require teamwork. but the community just doesn't seem very willing to work with each other. People just don't have that type of kindness that the developers believe they have. I don't want to sound rude in saying that, but that's just the truth that I've come by. During my playthrough of Destiny, this is what I've noticed. No one is willing to really work with each other. It's only the game that they're willing to work with. So that is the biggest problem with Destiny right now, is that the raids require you to find a raid team, and another negative right here is there's no way to queue up a raid team in the game. You have to download an app called the Destiny Companion app, and then you can find a raid team that way. But even in doing that, not everybody is going to want to teach you how to do the raid if you're new. Me, I have ran through this raid with my buddies at least, I'd say about 6 to 7 times at this point. So they'll do it with me just for fun. A lot of them don't even want the Taraba because they know the drop chance is garbage. And knowing this, some of them don't even switch their characters to attempt to get the Taraba on another character. They just gave up hope on that. They just don't care anymore. And that really is sad. So, developers, anybody, hopefully you guys do share this with them. If they haven't seen it, please do share this video, because I want this idea to happen eventually, because I've heard people completing this raid 40 to 60 times and never getting the Taraba. And see, this is a 10% drop chance. You should get this at least by your 20th completion. At least. That's the highest it should go. So this is my 6th completion. I probably will get it next week. But enough on the Taraba, let's talk a little bit more about the other raids. The Divinity, for example. The Garden of Salvation is a very difficult raid, and arguably probably much harder than this one. It is definitely frustrating to find a team on that, because some people just want to complete it. Some people don't even want to help you get the Divinity, because to get it requires a lot of work, a lot of teaching again to some players, because it is a new raid, so there's less people saying know what to do if you join this party. There's less people doing that because it is a new raid, I've noticed. But not a lot of people are willing to help each other get the Divinity. It's a group activity. You need to do it with a team. You just can't get it any other way, which is very, very annoying, I have to admit. The Garden of Salvation definitely requires a lot of teamwork, and I didn't get the Divinity until I found a solid team that was willing to be patient with me, even though I've never really completed the raid before. And this was probably the hardest thing I could ever do in a game, period. Was just finding somebody that would be willing to help me get something. Fighting the boss really isn't that difficult. You know your job, you know what to do, that's it. But it's finding people who have patience is the biggest problem in this game. The gameplay itself is amazing. The raids are so fun. My favorite raid boss has to be Galaran. He is super cool. I really like what he is. I want to see more raid bosses like this. He's just so cool. I love him. But the only irritating thing about his raid is the fact that he has a 10% drop chance weapon that I can only try for 3 times a week. That is probably the most irritating part about his character, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get irritated by this eventually. I know I'm going to hate this part about him eventually. He's going to get tired, and eventually he'll probably be my least favorite boss. That's if I don't get the Taraba soon. If I go through 60 plus completions on this and never get the Taraba, then that's probably when I'm gonna give up on the Taraba altogether and hate Galaran. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully and prayerfully. Hopefully the devs will actually do something about that before then anyway. The drop chance. But going back to raids in general, it definitely needs some cleaning up. Hopefully this next raid, by the time it comes out, because they are releasing another one, hopefully by the time this comes out, the developers would have fixed the issue that players just can't really find a raid team. Hopefully there'll be something that they will implement into the game that will make the raid a little more solo friendly. I hate to say that, but I know the devs don't really like that word, but I gotta be honest, I feel like a solo friendly activity is something that we just need, or at least it be something that you can solo, or you can bring a team with to make it a lot more interesting and a lot more fun. But an activity you can solo and farm loot by yourself, I think is something that definitely needs to be put into this game. Because even though I can put together a raid team, I can do these things, new players will not be able to do this very easily. I can guarantee you that. It's just something that we're not going to see is a lot of new players in these activities. Older players, yes, but I don't believe newer players will be able to participate in these because of the experience, and again, some of the older players just don't seem to have the patience to teach people and to work with people. But again, this is just a friendly criticism. It's not anything that I want to be taken out of context. I don't want people to think that this is me ranting at them. No. I only want this to be put into the game because I feel like it would make the game better. Now, my idea with making the Taraba an infinite farm, something you can keep coming back to the raid, but you won't get any legendary gear, you won't get anything else. The Taraba will always have a 10% chance to drop in this raid. You can farm it all day if you want to. You can complete it 10 times and then get it in that day. You can complete it 20 times and never get it. But the important thing is it's something you can continuously farm. I feel like that is an excellent idea, and the same goes for the Anarchy because that has a similar drop chance in the raid it comes from. I can't remember the name of that raid. I rarely play it, but the same goes for the Anarchy as well. Hopefully, this change does come eventually. I understand that this can't be done in the same day. I've researched game development before, so I know it takes time. I'm not the type of gamer to
demand a change now.
Hopefully this does happen eventually, though, because I would love to farm the Taraba constantly. I know my friends would love to do that. They would love to fight this boss constantly, just for fun. I know they would love to do that until they get the Taraba. That would be really, really fun, because we're hardcore grinders over here. We love to do things like that. But in the end, I hope the devs do put that and implement that into the game, and I hope that they do fix these raids and make the activities a little bit more solo friendly in the future, because I feel like, again, they're just right now, not a lot of new players can really jump into these raids because of the experience problem, and older players, they're just not willing to teach sometimes. They just don't have that level of patience, which is sad, but that's the truth. They just don't have that level of patience. So hopefully we start to see a little more, some more activities that are a little bit more solo friendly. Hey, going into a raid and solving a puzzle by myself actually sounds kind of cool. But hopefully you implement my ideas in some way into this game, developers, because I would love to finally be able to farm these activities constantly, because hey, I like fighting these bosses. I don't mind fighting them over and over again until I get the weapon, and I'm pretty sure other people would like that idea as well. So hopefully you take these ideas into consideration, developers, and hopefully you all have enjoyed this video. Again, this is a friendly criticism. I love this game. I just want to see it better in some way. So hopefully you take these ideas into consideration. Until next time, my fellow gamers and developers, take it easy for me, and please, please do have a blessed day. Bye.